Sorry again. I need to apologise first thing now to say sorry that I had to change the time today. But I've been really deaf, and I had wax in ears, and I just could not hear anything. So I have been to get that sorted, and it is mainly sorted. Still some to go, but it's a lot better, and I can now hear, which is brilliant. So sorry for the rumbling outside. Husband's now decided to do things, but hopefully that will stop very soon. Okay, so I'm hoping some of you could still join me today. We'll have to wait and see if anyone does. If you do, please just let me know who you are, where you're from. Let me just swap my view so we can actually see my craft desk and see what's going on. There we go. So this is what's going on today. Today it is Blog Hop Day for the Tech for Stampers Blog Hop. Tech for Stampers is the group I'm in with the wonderful Louise Sims, who does all of my technical stuff and helps me when I have problems, which is fairly often because I'm not very technical. But yeah, so there's a blog hop every month on the second Tuesday of every month. So today's theme for the blog hop is blue and white combo. So I've decided to use the Layers of Beauty set with the masks. This comes as a big bundle with dies and masks, and it is still available. I checked before. So lovely stamps, lovely dies that cut out all the images, plus a few extra leaves and things, and a lovely little tag with sort of dotted sort of thing all the way around it. So that is that. Then it comes with the masks, which I'm going to use. So I've already got out of the box with a piece of scrap paper, just put it there. I'm also used these Thoughtful Expressions dies, and I didn't know how to describe it. I've used this big circle. This one that isn't sticking, none of these are sticking down. I think I've used them all too much. But I've used this circle, and I don't know what to call it. I've called it a shaped circle, but I've used the largest one of those. That comes with the Thoughtful Expressions stamp set, and I have actually used this sentiment, where in the world would I be without you, for inside my card. So those are all the things I have used. Oh, and I have used this. This is the Everyday Skies 6x6 paper, and one of the sheets, as you can see with the bit that's left, was all blue and white. So I thought, yeah, why not? I can use that today as well. So let us get on. Got all my bits here, and I've done some of the preparation already because it's going to take a little while. I have stamped and just used the small stamp. Oh, I've got a ray of sunlight coming in. I'm not going to moan about sunshine. I'm really not. Anyway, I've used the small flower stamp from the set. Try not to let it get in the way of showing you things. There we go. Just to decorate my envelope. So that is already done. So for this card, you will need a normal card base. And this is the normal 21 by 14.8, scored at 10.5. Or if you're working in US cardstock, that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. Then I have also got some layers, blue and white combo, remember? So I've used Night of Navy as my first layer, which is going to go on the front of the card, which I might as well stick down now. Talk to you about it. So yeah, Night of Navy here. You could use any blues you want, really, because most of the blues go together. There are a lot of blues in the Stampin' Up family, I realised. I've decided to use 4 of them today, with Night of Navy being one. So I'm just putting that mat on there. Now this mat is the normal first mat, which is 10 centimetres by 14.3, or in inches, 4 inches by 5.25 inches if you are working in American sizes. Then I have cut my DSP down to my normal second layer size, which is 9.5 by 13.8, or 3.75 by 5 if you're working in inches. So I can stick this on as well. I think the clouds are going that way, so we'll have them that way. So to be honest, this paper is almost nice enough just to use on its own, just with some sort of central sentiment. But you know me, I can't keep things simple. So I am actually going to do a bit more. Oh, now I've just realised I haven't turned the chat on. So, oh, there we go. Margaret, hello, joining from the hairdressers. You just sat on the desk to do something with, coincidentally. Oh, well, that's great. I'm glad I can give you some inspiration. Well, I hope I can give you some inspiration. So, as I said, I cut the largest, I've said shaped circle. I don't know what to call it, really. The circle from the Thoughtful Expressions dies, the largest one. And I am going to have that right in the middle. So I'm going to stick, oh, I'm not going to stick it down now because I might stamp on it, haven't decided. And then I have stamped the big image from the Layers of Beauty, the big sort of central flowery image, and I am going to colour that with the masks. I've already die cut it. Normally I would not die cut it until I'd actually finished colouring in case I'll make a mess, but I thought I needed to save a little bit of time today because I am going to show you all of the blending and it does take time. So you can see I made a mistake on the back, so I used the other side. I'm just going to use some removable adhesive on the back of it just to stick it down on my paper. And now I can match my masks onto the image. So I'm starting with the big flower image. There are how many? 5 masks in this set. So I'm just matching it up with the edges of all of those stamped bits. And I am going to then stick it down using this. And I'm also going to use my pencil. There's a lovely little notch in the top of these masks. So I'm just going to use my pencil to mark where the mask is. When I come to put the next layers on, it'll be a lot easier because I've used that little notch to help. So I am going to stick it down using some temporary tape there. And now I can start with my colouring. So I am going to use, on the blue and white combo theme, I'm going to use 3 blues. I'm going to use Balmy Blue, Boho Blue and Misty Moonlight. I did think about Azure Afternoon, but it's quite bright and I wanted to stay a little bit more. I think there is Azure Afternoon in the DSP, but I'm going to try this and see. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I haven't made the card yet. This is the first time I just had the idea. I've been busy this week because I am off to Strasbourg tomorrow for the Stamping Up conference, which is going to be great fun. So I've got my blending brush and I am just picking up the colour from the pad. So starting with the lightest colour, which is Balmy Blue, and I'm just going to colour all over this mask where the gaps are to colour in these bits, including the leaves, because my leaves are going to be blue in the blue and white theme. so just colouring in, just moving this all over. And you notice before I started this, I just dabbed off here. That's just to take off any little extra bits of dye that might be too strong for the to add to the paper. So every time I pick up this, just dab it to make sure I take off any, so I don't get sort of left with funny lumps of colour on my image there. So that's my first layer. I've now got to peel this tape off. Ooh, there we go. There's the first bit. Don't want to lose that because I'm going to use it again. And I can take this mask off. Now, to clean your masks, just run them under some soapy water. That's all I do, and then I dab them down with dab them dry with a towel, and then they'll just dry in the air after that. So that was layer 1. Emma Lou, hello. I hope your earring. It is a lot better. There was a lot of wax in one ear, and which she's managed to clear. Which is great because it means I can hear, which I was really struggling with, trying to hear anything. It was awful. But luckily, that is now a lot better. Thank you very much. And the other ear, there's still some problem with it, so I'm waiting to see what happens with that one. So I've used my lightest colour, and you'll notice I've only got the one blending brush, because if you're going from a light through to a darker colour, you can keep using the same brush, because it won't actually matter. So, oops, without getting it all over you, of course, if you can. So I can just go straight into the darker colour without worrying about mixing the colours up, because it's darker, it's not going to matter. So here's darker one, same thing, just dab it on the paper and then going over the image. Again, colouring in where all the gaps are, which is where the mask will allow you to colour. And it's really quite a quick way to colour. Lining up the masks is the bit that takes any time at all. But as you can see, once you've got the first one lined up, it's easy to line up the next few. So there's that one done. So same thing again, I'm going to take it off and then I will go and wash all these masks under soapy water later. And you can start to see the blue and white combo coming through here. So that was mask 2. Now the last mask for the flowers. So again, I can use my lines to line it all up and make sure it is where it should be. And then Now, actually, I need to do, before I go into my darker colour, I need to do the rest of my, I need to do my leaves, which is really silly. So I need to go and get the other blending brush. Because what I meant to say is that we need to, so I need my lighter colour again for the first one of the leaves. So let me, oh, actually, if I've got another brush, it doesn't actually matter, does it? I can do them like this. Let's not panic, although I could use that one with that. Oh, no, I'm going to use my other brush and do the leaves first. So I'm going to take this off. That one will come back on in a minute to finish the flowers. Obviously, if you are not doing blue and white for everything, then you could do the leaves in a different colour. You could do them in greens or something sensible. But mine are going to be blue because this is the theme for today's blog hop. So just making sure that is lined up. These notches really do help, but you still have to just be very careful to make sure you're getting it where you need to get it. And this is my first layer of leaves, so I want to use a lighter colour. So this is why I need the other blending brush. So they come in packs of 3, so you always have 3, which is fine. So I'm picking up this light colour again, balmy blue. Again, dab it off and then do the same thing just over the leaves. I'm going a little bit lighter on this because I want the leaves to be a lot lighter than the flowers. So I'm not putting that much colour on, I'm just tinting them, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. So that is the first layer of the leaves. And then we can do the second layer. So you can see it's just nice and pale on the leaves there, which is what I wanted. And then we can use the second layer for the leaves. So again, just lining it up. I could actually leave the leaves just as they were. Perhaps don't need to add any extra colour, although there's a couple of leaves that don't get colour from the first masks, so it's actually quite a good idea. So I'm not going to add any more colour to this brush. I'd already loaded this brush with boho blue, which is the colour I want, so that probably enough on here, just again to give a little tint on the leaves without colouring them deeply, because this is just for the highlighting, so I don't need much colour on here, and there is enough on this brush just to add enough on these to just, there we go. There. So you can see my leaves I've got my shading on them quite nicely. Now I can do the centre of my flowers that I had lined up before, and I need to do again now. So there we go, that's lined up okay. So now I can use the same one because I'm going darker again. Ooh, beautiful flower stems. It's just a lovely set. I wasn't sure when these masks and bundles came out, I wasn't quite sure. You love that? Which colour blue? Which colour blue art or is the one you like? They're all so lovely. So this is my deeper blue, Misty Moonlight. I did think about using Night and Navy, but I thought it might just be a little bit too much. So we'll see. So just colouring the rest of this. I'm doing this fairly quickly, but the beauty of it is because the masks are there, you're going to get it right, because there we go. So there, just keep my bits of tape. Those masks and the brushes I shall wash in warm soapy water after I've finished this. Close my ink pad before I need that one again, but I'll leave it open for now. And I can peel this off from its temporary tape and just rub the temporary adhesive into the bin rather than over on me. And there we are. There is my blue and white coloured flowers. There we go. The masks are just lovely. It just makes colouring so easy. And I rather like them. And I'm quite pleased. That's how I was hoping it was going to come out, which is always good. So we can start to put this together. Now, I've already, as I said, stamped inside. I used that from the Thoughtful Expressions set, and I used the flower, which I just coloured with blends, as I did the ones on the envelope. Same blends as I've used in the colours for this main flower here. Just looking at this, the Azure Afternoon is going to show quite strongly on my background, and I've not used that in here. I don't think that matters too much. So I need to place this on. And the question is, do I stamp the card is going to go together basically like this. So do I stamp my sentiment direct onto there, or do I stamp it on an extra bit and raise it up on some dimensionals? Ideas, folks. What do you think? Yeah, the dark blue, Misty Moonlight. Do you know, I think Misty Moonlight is probably my favourite blue. I just love it. It's not too dark, but it's a really blue, if that makes sense, which I quite like. And the masks, the new hydrangeas. That's interesting, Margaret, that you bought the hydrangeas masks, because I didn't buy those. And the reason is I don't like hydrangeas. I really don't. But there is another flower, I think, with that set. And I did wonder about it, but I don't like them. So what do you think? Stamp straight on. Okay, Emily, what do you think? Yeah, I think so too. I think I will just stamp it onto there. So just move that out of the way. But you can see I just need it up in this right corner. So I didn't want to do it until I'd finished the flowers, so I know roughly where they're going. But that then gives me this area here that I can stamp directly on. There we go. And now we can finish putting the card together. So I'm going to put this on flat on the front of the card. I don't want too much. You could put it on dimensionals if you prefer, or if you stamp the sentiments separately, obviously that can go up on dimensionals. But I am going to put dimensionals behind these. So now you may say it's bigger. Look at the mess I made of the previous stamping. I couldn't find my Stamparatus. Normally for a big stamp like this, I would use my Stamparatus, because it means that if I did get a bit that wasn't well stamped, I can come back and do it very easily. But I may not need, no, I probably didn't need those ones, because I'll be chopping that off a little bit, but never mind. It'll be fine. There we go. So just popping some dimensionals on the back here. Yeah, I can't find my Stamparatus. I had a tidy of my craft room, which is always a bad thing to do because I can't find anything. Oh dear. I couldn't find my corner rounder the other day. I found that. It was in a sensible place. Really, I don't know. So this is going to go just round like that, up on dimensionals. And you can see it does stick out at the side. And that is very simply dealt with by getting my snips. I'm just going to trim it off, level with the card. I'm not going to, might have it level with the background actually, if I can slide my scissors along enough. And I did get one of those dimensionals in the way. I knew I'd do that. There. So I've just cut it off at the side because I didn't want it sticking out, but there we have there. Beautiful flower with the hydrangeas. Oh yeah, you love them. I think people either do. Oh, Margaret, you wanted me to put that on dimension. Up to you. That's flat. You could see if you put a dimension on, it would look nice. You'd have to, I don't know, you don't want another sort of border around it, so you'd have to sort of cut around the words to raise it, I think. But that would be fine. But I think just with the flowers up, that's lovely. Now, I did and ah about, that's too many colours, using the soft lagoon cording, but I'm not going to. I am, however, going to add a couple of gems. I have these, what are these ones? These are the tinsel gems. I've only got 3 blue ones left, but that will be just enough for one there, one down here, and one up in the sky, I think, just to add a little bit of interest to that fairly boring blue sky. There we go. So just those 4 left to finish with that. You're going to have a look at the hydrangea now. I get confused with geraniums. Rhododendrons. I quite like rhododendrons. I've got plenty of those in the garden, but I do not like hydrangeas. I just don't like them. They're just, I don't know, they're too blousy for me. I don't like peonies for the same reason. But I do like rhododendrons, and they're just as big, but somehow they're just a bit neater somehow. I don't know. Anyway, there we go. That is the finished card. I hope you like the blue and white combo that I've used. Just looking at it now, probably should have picked up one of the better blues from the sky, but I did pick some of them up, and I think I'm pleased with it anyway. So there we go. That is my blue and white combo for today. All of the measurements, as usual, will be in the blog, which I shall go and complete now, removing the Lost Lagoon cording that I now won't use. I got it because it actually matches. I know it's Lost Lagoon, but it actually, and it probably isn't quite a blue, but it does actually match the balmy blue quite well. If I hold it against it, you can perhaps hold it a bit closer, and then you can see that it actually matches quite well with balmy blue. But no, I'm not going to add that on. It'll spoil the card now. So that was my idea, just have a little bow. But no, nope, put that away. Don't want that. And that's the thing, when you're trying cards out, just try things. And if it doesn't work, take it off, do it with something else. But I think, yeah, just those few gems are just enough for this one. So all of the instructions and the measurements, as always, will be on my blog, which will be published at 6 o'clock tonight. So don't go looking at it until then, just because all of them, all of the Blog Hop cards, and I think there's at least 6 already, so there's plenty to see. Do go to my blog, and then you can see the links for the other people's cards, because I'm going to be really interested to see what everybody else does with this topic, because it's a fun one. And Margaret, you're going to make a 5x7 version of it as well. Yes, your usual size. Yep, this is just my usual A6 size, which is the usual size I make. I quite like them to be neater. I used to make bigger cards, and now I've gone mainly for smaller ones. Just life. Anyway, the exciting news is I am off to Strasbourg tomorrow for the Stamping Up conference. I will be reporting back, but that does mean there is no live next week. So please ignore next Tuesday. I've tried to make sure Facebook doesn't remind people of it, but sometimes Facebook does its own thing. There is no live next Tuesday. I did say that in my email, so do sign up for those, and then you'll know exactly what's going on. And oh, thanks, Arta Rai. I think the card is beautiful. Jolly good. And yes, I will be back. I will be back live in 2 weeks' time, and I will have all of the news from Strasbourg and my swaps and all sorts of things to show you. There is a new blog coming out on Thursday, if I can remember to publish it in time, which is one of my swaps. I've done the treat boxes I made at Christmas with the Maltesers in, just with the non-Christmas paper, the Malteser hot drink sachets, and I've also made some tea bag holders, and that is the blog that's going to come out on Thursday afternoon. It should be out. Yeah, I will have a lovely time. I'm sure I will, Emmylou and Margaret. And Margaret, I am so sorry that you can't be with me. I am so glad you are improving with your leg. And next year we'll go together. No problem. So thanks for joining me today. And yeah.